Hey everyone, in today's video, we will be competing once again in the Ink Games. Our objective this time is to put an end to these games. So without further ado, let the games begin. We start off with red light, green light, which was a walk in the park. Although I grew anxious as I watched the clock tick down and my fellow contestants die, I persevered and came out triumphant as I crossed the line at the end of the field. I eventually got my picture took again after a long queue and made this absolute incel move aside from my pure, unmatched beauty. It was time for the next game, Dalgona. By far one of the easiest games in the Ink Games, which was made even easier by the fact I got star, which I flawlessly cut out. I was then given my food and made my way to the bathrooms to hide. However, when the lights went out, I had a change of heart and became bloodthirsty. My first victim, a poor blonde man who didn't stand a chance. My second victim, an incel who had attacked me and fled. You can run, but you can't hide. My final victim, an evasive man who I pursued for the entire night. I eventually killed him whilst he was trying to heal. The night soon came to an end. The next game was hide and seek, and I got hider once again. I was chased by a seeker for most of the game until I eventually evaded him and hid behind a wall for the last minute. The game that followed was jump rope, a game that many failed to complete. However, I'm not one of those many people, and Aura farmed my way to the end. I was traumatized, though, as I watched some of my fellow contestants fall to their death. In this moment, I knew these games had to be stopped. Here came one of the more dangerous games, Glass Bridge. As I stepped onto the first panel, I attempted to move the crowd towards an idea of rebelling against the games. However, that didn't matter if I didn't make it across this bridge. So I helped people get across and guided them onto the right panels as I was a glassmaker and had worked in glass manufacturing for 30 years. We eventually made it to the end of the bridge through sheer determination and luck. This is when whispers of rebelling began to spread. When the time came to vote to either stop the games or continue, I was relieved. These people were smart and knew they would eventually die and voted to end the games. With an overwhelming vote of 13-0, we thought we'd go home. However, they rigged the vote. This caused an uproar as we wanted to go home. We beat the guards and took their guns. However, more guards swarmed us from the elevator and we fought relentlessly to try and beat them. It took all of our strength and determination, but eventually, we beat them. As we advanced through the complex stairways and made our way up the facility, more and more of us died. There was only a handful of us left by the time we had reached the stairs leading to the management office. Once we were there, we fended off against relentless attacks from the guards. Eventually, we defeated them. It was in this moment I realized that all my work, all my planning, all my effort had came down to this very moment. We entered the office of the front man. It seemed that he had just given up. That's when one of us approached him and put a bullet in the back of his head. Well deserved. We fled to the roof and found a helicopter. Thankfully, one of us was a pilot.